Welcome to the Ensom region, a Pokemon region of my creation based on Australia, and the region the theoretical Pokemon games Pokemon Plus and Minus would take place. Ensom is teeming with adventure, mystery, and most importantly, Pokemon. So let's meet the Pokemon you would be given by Professor Akasha to begin your journey with, the starters. So allow me to introduce Saltear, Stoey, and Pugglee. Hey everyone, Brandon here. I'm going to challenge you all to comment your pick and guess what their final types will be down below before seeing the final stages, then edit that comment to add what your pick was after. No cheating by skipping to the end or editing your guesses. I'll be hearting comments who did this for the first couple hours that the video is live, and if it seems like you cheated, you won't be getting one. Also, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're excited for this new region. Anyway, let's kick this off by explaining our grass starter, Saltear, the grass croc Pokemon, a pure grass type that I worked with Foongoos to bring to life, as well as the rest of the starters in this video, so make sure to check out their link in the description. This tearsome little fellow is based on the saltwater crocodile, a crocodilia native to much of Oceania, but was made famous by the legendary crocodile hunter Steve Irwin. Rest in peace, King. Steve would be proud too, because this would actually give us a complete type trio of crocodile starter Pokemon with Totodile and Fuecoco. In its name, you can obviously see tear or tears, which refers to the idiom crocodile tears, which means a false or insincere display of emotion. So unlike the similarly sobbing starter Sobble, Saltear's cries are fake, an attempt to garner sympathy and look weak before striking out against their prey or opponents. So yes, it would definitely learn the move fake tears. The way its mouth is open is to replicate how many babies cry, since it is the base stage, and crocodiles who leave their mouth open like this to cool down. But when combined with these thorny elements in and along its mouth, it refers to Venus flytraps, which will trap prey in their mouths with a sweet scent, closing in on the prey once it's landed. So in both appearance and concept, Saltear is more than meets the eye. This would also be represented in it learning a brand new move, Flytrap, a base 50 physical grass type move that traps the opponent on the field so they can't flee or switch out. It would also do super effective damage to bug and flying types. It would still only do double, not quadruple damage if they are both types though. It's kind of a high risk, high reward move since Saltear is weak to both those types. Carnivine would of course also learn this move in future generations as it wouldn't be found in Ensom. Next, let's talk about our fire starter, Stoey, the Fire-Roo Pokemon, a pure fire type. Very obviously, this little guy is a Joey, aka a baby kangaroo, but can also be used to describe the young of other marsupials. With the kangaroo being the national animal of Australia, making it an important Pokemon in this region was an absolute must. It is seriously such a shame that Kangaskhan is our only kangaroo representation, with it being more like a kaiju version of a tree kangaroo, rather than the kind we are all more familiar with, so this Firestarter line is here to remedy that. With this being Stoey's default size, it could refer to wallabies which come from the same family as kangaroos. The redneck wallaby and the yellow-footed Rothschild and Mariba rock wallabies work here, since Stoey has red, orange, and yellow so heavily featured in its design, and as I said, Joey is used for the young of other marsupials as well. Longtime viewers may have also noticed, this is the first time here on the channel that a Firestarter hasn't followed the Firestarter Zodiac theory. I'm actually very excited to break from that pattern because then we get unique starters such as Stoey. Its name comes from Joey as we established, but also from stoic, like its expression, and stoke, as in to stoke a flame. Speaking of flames, its ears clearly look like them and act as a major heat source. Trainers who use this Pokemon as their partner can put their hands on top of Stoey's head, and it will fold its ears down on them, essentially acting like a hand warmer. It does this for other Pokemon that have hands as well. This is especially helpful in the snow-laden southeastern region of Ensom. And why don't you go ahead and move your mouse southwest on your screen to hit that join button and become a member. Membership gets you perks like videos early, a shout out at the end of my videos, and even helps fund one Fakemon a month, which you are credited for. So become a member today and help support this channel and the artists I work with. Alright, let's finally move on to our water starter, Pugglee, the Puggle Pokemon, a pure water type. This joyful little dude is named for that glee it exhibits and after Puggles, aka baby platypuses. This is another incredibly distinct creature endemic to Australia, and I wanted to feature it in a major way for this region. Its name could also contain ugly as well, with the platypus being such an odd-looking creature, with many saying it's akin to a combination of a duck and a beaver. Pugglee's coloration refers to this, with the front half being lighter and more duck-like, and its back half being darker and more beaver-like. To be clear though, I don't personally think this adorable water starter is ugly in any way. Its jovial demeanor and uniquely cute appearance make it a popular choice as a starter Pokemon throughout Ensom. It is highly adaptable to many environments due to its unique combination of features, but prefers to be in the water where it can swim with incredible dexterity. So as some observant viewers may have noticed by now, these three already have a group theme going on. The names of the games are Pokemon Plus and Minus, as in positive and negative, so these starters are emblematic of those alignments. Saltear represents sadness both in appearance and that its deceit causes fear or sadness, which are both considered negative emotions. Pugglee is as happy as can be, aka positive emotions, and Stoey is stoic, a lack of emotion, meaning neutral. A few starter groups throughout the generations have kind of already had this theme going on of the happy one, the serious or sad one, and the neutral one, but I wanted to make that more intentional with these three. Though they are representative of these alignments, that does not mean they are always that way. They can experience other emotions, so don't worry about these cuties. No suppressed emotions going on here. The same can't be said for the person that created them though. Haha. I'm fine. Why do you ask? Anyway, let's stick with Pugglee, who at level 18 evolves into Platyrain, the Whirlpool Pokemon. Once again, let's start with the name because while it seems as simple as platypus plus rain, there is more to it. Platyrain's tail has taken a turn in its evolution, a 90-degree one, making it look like a boomerang, traditionally used as tools or weapons in various forms by Aboriginal people across Australia. Speaking of Aboriginal people, the Dja Dja Wurrung people have a word for platypuses, Watjarang. So mix that cadence with boomerang, platypus, and rain, and you have Platyrain. That naming scheme and its boomerang tail would be used in its new signature move, Waterang. It would be a base 60 special water type move that would hit the target, and then it would hit again the next turn for slightly less damage, even if Platyrain faints the turn it is used. If used in a double battle, it would hit the target on one side and then the other side on the return hit. You wouldn't be able to use Watering again until it is returned to you. You could use other moves, but this prevents you from just spamming it. Platyrain is very possessive and protective over its tail for this reason, making sure to exercise it daily to keep it strong, healthy, and battle ready. Oh, and just for the comments I'm surely going to get, a Platyrain? Parry the Platyrain! Now back to our fire starter, Stoey, which at level 18 evolves into Barbaroo, the Fire-Roo Pokemon. With a name and a pouch like that, you know this Pokemon is based on the Bobby, or more accurately is the Bobby. And no, there's no shrimp in that pouch. They're called prawns in Australia. Jokes aside, barbecues are a staple of Australian culture, bringing people and communities together, so I wanted to feature that in some way. So this naming scheme and minor design detail felt like the perfect way to do it. Barbaroo may look testy, but it is just serious about the food it cooks. It will bring communities of Pokemon of varying types together to enjoy the food it perfectly roasts in its toasty pouch. If a Pokemon tries to battle or mess with Barbaroo while it is mid-roasting, it will enter a fiery fury, burning what's in its pouch, which then makes it even angrier and does not bode well for the Pokemon that interrupted its process. Move over, Jeremy Allen White. The bear? More like the Roo. And let's move on back to our grass starter, Saltear, which at level 18 evolves into Chompine, the grass croc Pokemon. This endearingly enclosed ectotherm has an additional inspiration of the Wallami pine. This tree, which is endemic to Australia, is considered by many to be a living fossil, gaining the nickname of the dinosaur tree. A perfect name to incorporate into our mini dinosaur here, and a bit of a unique way of handling the whole grass starter being based on ancient or extinct life trope. Though it still could be based on the Sarcosuchus, Dinosuchus, or many other Sucuses I should know about. Chompines stay cozy and warm in their hoodie-like foliage. This leads to them generally being more friendly, pleasant, and safe to interact with than their previous stage. If I'm being honest, these have to be my favorite set of middle stage starters I've made yet, because they feel like they have their own concepts and personalities outside of just being a step between the base and final stages. I also did something unique for them. I switched their alignments. Chompine goes from fake sad to real happy, negative to positive, Barbaroo goes from stoic to angry, neutral to negative, and Platyrain goes from happy to chill, positive to neutral, showing how emotions and alignments can change. The world is in a constant state of fluctuation, and in life you must adapt to that change or be left behind, just like both Pokemon evolution and real-life evolution. And those alignments will switch again upon Chompine's evolution at level 36, when it becomes Crafttooth, the excavation Pokemon, a grass dragon type. Dear God! A dragon-type starter Pokemon? The type balance, Brandon! Think about the Pokemon type balance! Is what I'm sure you're probably typing right at this moment, but for one, the types will balance out with the other two, I promise. For two, it has a quad weakness to ice now and has 5 other weaknesses. And for 3, the types don't need to be balanced and haven't been for many dual-type final stages. There has almost never been an instance where those types are going to directly impact your gameplay experience. At this point, it's not like it's going to affect your gym challenge because you can just find and catch Pokemon with the types of the starters you didn't pick. And the final stages of the starters never fight one-on-one in any battle I know of in the Pokemon franchise, so I don't understand why people get so up in arms about the type balance. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Anyway, back to Crafttooth. This hulking beast has mellowed out a bit, not nearly as uppity as its base stage, burrowing holes and sculpting a hideout for itself out of mud if it gets too hot in the arid parts of Ensom. Its long snout is definitely still inspired by Venus flytraps and those Sucuses I mentioned before, but it is also inspired by 2 other plants, the golden wattle and the Australian sundew. The golden wattle is the floral emblem of Australia, with its gold and green coloration matching the national colors of Australia, with gold being favored amongst dragons like Crafttooth's typing. And the Australian sundew is among the largest genera of carnivorous plants, just like this Pokemon is incredibly large and carnivorous. Hilariously enough, the golden wattle tree is found commonly in the southeast of Australia, which is where it gets some of its coldest weather, and where in Ensom most of the ice types can be found, which once again, Crafttooth is quad weak to. The interesting adaptations of these plants to colder climates and carnivory respectively is referenced in Crafttooth's new hidden ability called All-Terrain, in which Crafttooth receives a boost to its attack and defense by 1 stage if a terrain is up, no matter what kind of terrain. An all-terrain Viacroc, if you will. Next, we are actually going to talk about the water starter and save the fire starter for last for a reason you will learn later on. With that said, at level 36, Platerain evolves into Hero-Treem, the quest Pokemon, a water steel type. You never knew a platypus could slay this hard. As its name and category suggest, this ultra-serious, battle-hardened Pokemon is a hero to many throughout Ensom, even inspiring its own widely popular comic book series, The Human Hero-Treem, where a human was raised alongside Pugglee and believes themselves to be the Pokemon, saving Pokemon and people day and night. As you can see from its pose, its tail has evolved from the boomerang of Platerain into more of a blade, which is partly inspired by more curved blades like in ancient Persia, but also looks like the longer boomerangs of some aboriginal groups. The wavy parts and tail of Hero-Treem are actually flexible steel that it uses to lessen the impact of oncoming blows, and the wavy parts around the waist when combined with its tail and the coloration below its waist make an allusion to surfers when they have their suits half off, pushing that idea of platypuses being half beaver half duck while also being a fun reference. It also has a new hidden ability called Poison Tipped, which gives all slash moves it can learn the chance to poison the opponent. This applies to Waterang too, which would be fairly broken, with 2 chances to poison in a row. Slash, Tachyon Cutter, and Air Cutter would also be on that list of moves it could learn either by level up or TM. This refers to how platypuses are one of the few venomous mammals, as it has these venomous spurs on its ankles, so it worked as a great way to tie in poison-tipped weapons. Speaking of weapons, you can clearly see that Hero-Treem falls into the theory that water starters are based on weapons, which was a loose theory at best, but I wanted this concept for the Pokemon anyway, so it works out. So now finally we have Barbaroo, which at level 36 evolves into Jamboree, the surprise Pokemon, a fire fairy type. I told you I balanced the types. It isn't a complete type triangle, but nerfs the dragon type so it is a bit more fair between the other two. Fire Fairy is also a type combo we have yet to see in the franchise up until the point of making this video, which I felt would be great to give a starter. Kangaroos are commonly tricksters in aboriginal stories, which you would think would make it more of a dark type, but as I have said many times on the channel, fairies are also tricksters and tricks aren't inherently malevolent in nature, sometimes even having net positive results. So this refers to those gleeful prank pullers. As much as I would love to give Jamboree Prankster for its hidden ability, the other two got custom new abilities, so to be fair, I will give it one as well, though Prankster could be a backup. This is all hypothetical anyway. Its new hidden ability would be called Chance Time. Each turn this gives Jamboree a 10% chance to heal itself, an ally, or a member of your party for 20% of their HP. It would also get a new signature move at this stage called Mystery Pouch, a base 80 special fire type move that has an 80% chance to do base damage, with stab and type effectiveness counted in, a 10% chance to do 10% extra damage, and a 10% chance to do 10% less damage. This would be on top of the already low and high damage chance implicit to Pokemon attacking moves. This leads me perfectly into the group theme for the final stages. They are all based on different genres of video games. Jamboree pulls its name directly from Jamboree, just like the most recent Mario Party game, being themed around party games or platformers like Mario and Sonic have many of, sometimes together. There is even a little Crash Bandicoot likeness in there with its face, with the nose being a nod to both Sonic and Crash. For an animal known for its jumping, this felt like a perfect fit. I tried to weave that idea of community and fun with others throughout this entire line. Jamboree's ability was named and influenced by the Mario Party mechanic Chance Time, which can really benefit a random player in the game by giving them another player's stars or coins. I considered taking a part of the opponent's HP away as well, but that felt too broken. Its new signature move references the iconic mystery blocks from many Mario games, and the incarnations of it that exist in other platformer or party game franchises. Crafttooth gets its name from craft, and its category is a synonym for mine. So yep, it's Minecraft time. It also refers to general cozy games like Animal Crossing, Terraria, Harvest Moon, and Stardew Valley, with some of them giving you the ability to terraform. This is why it is Dragon type and not Rock or Ground, because you can do a variety of things within those games that aren't limited to digging or mining. Hero-Treem takes its name from Hero, as in the one from the Dragon Quest games, but refers to RPGs and adventure games in general, like Final Fantasy, Elder Scrolls, Persona, or Baldur's Gate. It definitely takes after the edgy or fantastical appearances of many JRPG protagonists though. The reason I picked video games as a theme was not because of Australia's video game industry, though it does have a decent one. It started as a reference to the concept of the dreaming in Aboriginal culture. A dreaming, at least from my understanding, is the essence of a person, animal, place, or thing. What they have been, what they will become, and how what they are is influenced by those two things. Admittedly, I fell into the mistake many make in attributing this to the English version of dreaming when first picking the concepts for these designs, but I also tried to weave in my new understanding of dreaming. So these final stages are based around my childhood dream of working in the video game industry and my favorite game genres of all time, referring to my past self in my childhood, my current self who loves those genres, and who I wanted to become or who I am now and in the foreseeable future, with my job being video game related. They each also represent common dreams people report having. The Crafttooth line represents dreams where your teeth fall out, with many teeth amongst these Pokemon. The Jamperoo line represents dreams about flying or jumping high, which Roos certainly do. And the Hero Dream line represents dreams about being chased, which in a lot of RPGs you are being chased by enemies or monsters and could refer to the random encounters found within them. These final stages also have a group design trait like the Paldea starters and my Devar starters did. The trait is of Aboriginal artwork and the patterns used within them. These animals are all heavily featured in the stories of many Aboriginal groups across Australia, so it only felt right to incorporate more than one aspect of that culture into their designs. And those are the starters of the Ensom region. We will be back at the end of next month with some native Pokemon you would be able to find in this region, so make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you so much to our incredible members whose names you can see on screen for supporting this channel with their hard-earned money, which you can also do by hitting that join button. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.